Hold on tight because what you're about to hear might be the most jaw-dropping family scandal we've ever covered. Jasmine. Yes, Jasmine, the lady at the center of one of the messiest custody battles in town, just dropped a bomb that no one saw coming. Are you ready for this? She's seeking $300 from Kirk Frost, the father of her child, and if he turns it over, she finally quit claiming her own offspring and blood. Wait, what is this? A joke or a poor reality TV plot twist? Nope, this is real life, folks, and it's occurring right before our eyes. Jasmine, in a move that has the community has determined that the price of peace is actually $300. The drama is incredible. The internet is booming, and guess what? No one, not even Kirk Frost, knows how to respond. So let's up for a second. How did we get here? And why in the world would she place a price tag on her own child? Stay close because this is about to get crazy. What is her true motivation? Or is this just a desperate request for money? Or is there something deeper going on behind the scenes? You won't believe what we discovered about this twisted scenario. So keep watching because you're not ready for the reality. Alright, let's move right into the heart of the scandal because this is not just some petty drama. Jasmine has definitely pushed things to an amazing level, and it's got the 4 weeks. The entire town has been chattering about Jasmine and Kirk's custody fight. The allegations, the tension, and now the $300 that she's putting on terminating the fight for her child, and let's just say that has everyone asking one very essential question. What in the world is going on here? But here's the problem. Let's rewind a bit. Jasmine's been a feature in this back and forth between her and Kirk Frost for a while now. Over the past several months there's been a lot of back and forth. First there were the claims. You know, those reports about Jasmine launched the custody case and made the charges against Kirk, accusing him of being unfit. But now she's throwing in the towel. And at what cost? About peace, or is there something more behind this bizarre demand? Kirk, on the other hand, has had his hands full. He stepped up, took on a fatherly position, and even won some compassion from fans. Appreciated his efforts. They viewed him as the guy attempting to do right by this youngster, and honestly, a lot of people anticipated that Jasmine's method would ultimately break down. But now it appears like it's Kirk, who is trapped between a rock and a hard place. The $300 offer is more than just a petty deal. It's a smack in the face, especially given the years of mayhem that have unfolded. Let's dissect this down. Jasmine has suddenly, unexpectedly offered to withdraw her custody, fight provided. Kirk coughs up $300. That's right, she's asking for $300, and in exchange, she'll walk away from her own kid. But is she doing it for the right reasons, or has she just decided to make it all about money and attempt to win this battle her own way? This bombshell came right out of left field, and when you hear it from those close to the issue, the response is a mixture of astonishment and absolute shock. A neighbor close to Jasmine, who preferred to remain nameless, was reported stating, "How could anybody put a price on their child? This doesn't feel like the answer. It feels like desperation, and honestly, can you blame them? You've got a mother offering back out of the custody fight if there's a monetary transaction involved. It's almost inconceivable." The true stunner is Jasmine's own justification for her conduct. She's not selling her child. She's just attempting to bring peace to this turmoil that has been tearing apart not only her life but the community's sense of normalcy. "I just want peace," Jasmine allegedly stated to a group of reporters, her tone strangely calm. This has gone on long enough. If $300 is what it takes to go on, then what's going on here? Is Jasmine truly simply a lady weary of battling, or is she attempting to use the whole problem into a bargaining point for cash? We can't deny the fact that there's something extremely odd about the entire arrangement, and Kirk Frost, understandably, isn't buying it. Kirk's response was swift and impassioned. "It's not about the money. It's about what's right," he told reporters, plainly irritated. Talking about not some discussion over a piece of furniture. "I'm not just going to give over cash and call it a day." His comments say volumes. This isn't about an easy repair, and it's certainly not about any straightforward settlement. Is about what's best for the child. And Kirk's position is quite clear. No amount of money should be enough to stop this struggle, and it's not just the immediate. People concerned have been reacting because this problem has spilled out into the streets, into social media, and into the larger public sphere. People are talking. And it's a mixture of bewilderment, judgment, and a fair portion of mem. Everyone seems to have an opinion. And whether it's internet critics or your next-door neighbor, the reaction is one huge resounding "what the heck is going on?" Social media is ablaze. Some people sympathize with Jasmine's seeming desperation, reasoning that she only wants to move on and stop the terrible argument. Others, however, are not so kind online. Commentators are calling it another low moment in family turmoil, with many poking fun at Kirk's expense, and let's be honest, some memes are absolutely not holding back. People are calling out both parties, asking how this could ever get to a stage where money was involved, questioning the ethics and laughing at the silliness of it all. As one prominent social media celebrity put it best, this isn't just a local issue anymore. It's become a symbol of how nasty modern family dynamics can get. And honestly, who can blame them? It's difficult not to see the humor in it all, but at the same time, it's difficult not to feel for the youngster who's caught in the middle of all of this. And if things weren't wild enough, reports are starting to circulate that attorneys are becoming involved and both sides are apparently gearing up for a judicial showdown. It may be a case of the decade for the little town. A legal commentator even chimed in to comment on how things were heating up. Jasmine and KK have made a spectacle plain and simple. The legal expert said, an $300 isn't going to cure that. So what's going to happen next? Will Kirk Frost give in? Will Jasmine follow through on her unreasonable demand, or will this $300 request grow into an even greater mess? One thing is for sure, we're in for a crazy ride. The pressure is rising, the emotions are strong, and no one knows what's next. But stay tuned because this tale is far from over. The storyline unfolds as the community and the media are still reeling from Jasmine's jaw-dropping suggestion. It wasn't just a routine custody dispute anymore. This has now evolved into a full-blown spectacle, and the world can't seem to look away. People are questioning how we got here. How Jasmine went from a mother desperately wanting to return her kid to someone who's now prepared to trade her rights for a mere $300. The question on everyone's mind is there more to this than meets the eye? As we progress through the novel, one thing becomes very clear. Jasmine's $300 request is not merely a reflection of her exasperation. It is the culmination of something far darker and more complex. Far beyond the surface-level drama we first observed, the actual depths of this scandal go beyond the family feuds. And the emotional toll it's having on everyone involved is clear. While the public chimes in with memes and hashtags, the deeper implications of this unusual event are beginning to unravel. Kirk Frost, the man at the heart of the storm, is now facing blowback. His fans, who were previously loud and proud, are becoming silent, unsure of where to stand. The man who was once seen as a hero for stepping up and caring for Jasmine's kid is now confronted with angst he continued to justify his conduct when they are directly linked to a lady who is ready to place a price on her child's future. Kirk Frost has maintained that this is not about money, and he's been incredibly vocal about it. This isn't just some petty deal. This is about doing what's right for my child, he says, visibly upset. But there's more going on behind the scenes, and people close to Kirk Frost imply that even he didn't foresee this turn of events. One person close to him disclosed that Kirk never anticipated Jasmine to descend so low and assumed they'd work things out for the child's sake. But when money gets involved like this, it's evident there are other difficulties at play. And those issues may be the key to understanding what's really going on. A question has been raised in local circles as to why $300 was not a more substantial amount, something that may indicate a genuine desire to move past the turmoil. This number feels like an arbitrary, almost symbolic sum. Could it be that Jasmine is using the $300 to make a statement? Some argue that it isn't about the money at all, but rather about reassert control in a final desperate attempt to recover authority in a situation that has spun out of control for those close to Jasmine. It's starting to become evident that this entire custody struggle has become a power battle. Jasmine is tired of being the one left out in the cold. A person close to the incident told us she feels that Kirk has hijacked the whole thing, claiming credit for as the good guy when in reality she's the one who's been left battling for her rights every step of the way. But Jasmine's motivations are convoluted, and some are calling her out for using her child as a pawn in a game of leverage. Some see it as a desperate act from a mother who has been pushed to her breaking point. If $300 can cease the fighting, why not she? Allegedly remarked in one of her more frank moments, "I'm weary of the drama. This child deserves more than the circus." But the trouble with this kind of thinking is that it's impossible for anybody to regard it as anything but a desperate gesture. And that's when the seams in Jasmine's story start to emerge. You don't just give money for your child, one family lawyer noted. You fight for them emotionally, legally. You don't just hand them over for cash. This opinion is rising in popularity as the internet continues to weigh in on the topic. Jasmine may have thought this would be an easy answer to a long-standing issue, but it's turning out to be a far greater problem. As social media opinions continue to stream in, some believe that Jasmine is merely trying to profit on the situation. Some are more sympathetic, suggesting that she's been exploited by Kirk and that the $300 is her way of cutting her losses and moving on. It's tragic. This was meant to be a basic custody problem, but it's turned into a spectacle. The whole town is talking about it, and it's honestly sort of humiliating for everyone involved, and the drama doesn't end there. As matters intensify, Jasmine has purportedly been making hidden calls to her attorney, reportedly searching for methods to secure her offer legally. What began as a casual request has now grown into a formal proposition of sorts, with Jasmine's lawyer reportedly preparing an agreement that may put the $300 bargain into effect. Through gasoline to the fire, generating speculations that Jasmine may be making a deal with the devil, so to speak. Is she attempting to cover up a deeper truth? Or is she simply trying to get out of a position she wants? Even more concerning is the possible fallout. This scenario is no longer isolated to the little hamlet where it originated. The story has already gone viral, and national media outlets are picking it up and reporting it from every perspective. Is this a tragic indictment on modern family life? Or is it just a desperate cry for help from someone who feels helpless in a scenario they can no longer control? But the true astonishment occurred when Jasmine's next action was disclosed. Just when Kirk believed this would all be finished, a fresh twist appeared. Jasmine apparently filed for formal mediation with the $300 offer as part of the criteria. This wasn't simply a verbal agreement longer. Jasmine wanted it written and legally acknowledged. And she was prepared to take the battle if required. And if things weren't crazy enough, rumors are starting to emerge that the attorneys are getting involved. Both parties are supposedly preparing up for a judicial showdown, which could be a case of the decade for the little town. A legal analyst even chimed in, remarking on how things were heating up. Jasmine and Kirk have made a spectacle plain and simple, the legal expert commented. Frankly, $300 isn't going to repair that. So what's going to happen next? Will Kirk give in? Will Jasmine follow through on her absurd demand? Or will these $300 requests evolve into an even greater mess? One thing is certain, we're in for a crazy ride. The pressure is growing, the emotions are high, and no one knows what's going to happen next. But stay tuned, because this narrative is far from over. The narrative unfolds as the community and the media are still reeling from Jasmine's jaw-dropping suggestion. This is no longer just a routine custody struggle. It has now evolved into a full-fledged show, and the world can't seem to look away. People are questioning how we got here. How Jasmine went from a mother urgently seeking to claim her kid to someone who's now willing to surrender her rights for a mere $300. The question on everyone's mind is, there more to this than meets the eye? As we go deeper into the narrative, one thing becomes crystal clear. Jasmine's $300 request isn't just a reflection of her displeasure. It's the culmination of something much darker, more intricate, and far beyond the surface-level drama we first observed. The full depths of the scandal extends beyond family feud, and the emotional toll on everyone involved is evident. While the public chimes in with memes and hashtags, the underlying effects of this weird situation is beginning to emerge. Kirk, the man at the heart of the storm, is now experiencing pushback from all sides. His followers, who were previously loud and proud, are growing silent, unsure of where to stand. The guy who was previously viewed as a hero for stepping up and caring for Jasmine's kid is now confronted with an altogether new problem. Can he continue to defend his actions when they are directly linked to a mother who's ready to put a price on her child's future? Kirk has maintained that this is not about money, and he's been really outspoken about it. This isn't just some petty thing, this is about doing what's right for my child, he adds, clearly disturbed. But there's more going on behind the scenes, and sources close to Kirk believe that even he didn't expect this turn of events. One source close to him disclosed that Kirk Frost never anticipated Jasmine to descend so low. He assumed they'd work things out for the sake of the child. But when money gets involved like this, it's evident there are other concerns at play. And those difficulties may be the key to comprehending what's actually going on. A big question has been raised in local circles. Why $300? Why not a more meaningful amount? Anything that may reflect a real desire to get past the turmoil. Instead, this sum appears like a random, almost symbolic quantity. May it be that Jasmine is using the $300 to make some argue that it is not about the money at all, but rather about establishing power in a final desperate attempt to reclaim authority in a situation that has spun out of control for those close to Jasmine. It's starting to become evident that this entire custody battle has become a power struggle. Jasmine is tired of being the one left out in the cold. A friend close to her, Karen, told us she feels that Kirk Frost has hijacked the whole issue and taken credit for being the nice guy. But in reality, she's the one who's been left battling for her rights every step of. But Jasmine's reasons are nuanced. While some are calling her out for using her child as a pawn in a game of leverage, others view it as a desperate act from a mother who has, in one of her more frank moments, she allegedly said, "I'm weary of the drama. This child deserves better than the circus." But the problem with this type of thinking is that it's impossible for anybody to view it as anything other than a desperate performance. And there's where the fractures in Jasmine's story begin to appear. You don't simply offer money for your child, one family lawyer said, that you battle for them emotionally, legally, and don't just hand them up for cash. This attitude is rising in favor as the internet continues to. Jasmine may have thought this would be an easy answer to a long-standing issue, but it's turning out to be a far greater problem. According to the social media comments continue to stream in, some are alleging that Jasmine is merely attempting to capitalize on the issue. Others are more sympathetic, suggesting that she's been deceived by Kirk Frost and that the $300, her approach of cutting her losses and moving on, is tragic. According to one commenter, what was intended to be a routine custody problem has turned into a spectacle that the entire community is talking about it, and it's honestly sort of awkward for everyone concerned. And the drama doesn't end there as things escalate. Jasmine has supposedly been making hidden calls to her attorney, apparently seeking for methods to reinforce her offer in legal terms. What started as a casual inquiry has now developed into an official proposition of sorts, with Jasmine's lawyer purportedly preparing an agreement that may put the $300 bargain into motion. This has just thrown fuel to the flames, generating accusations that Jasmine may be making a deal with the devil. Is she attempting to cover up a deeper truth, or is she just attempting to get out of a position she no longer feels qualified to handle? Even more frightening is the possible fallout from this issue is no longer contained to the detail. Began in a tiny village and has now gone global, with national media outlets covering it from all angles. Is this a sad statement on modern family life, or is this merely a desperate cry for help from someone who feels powerless in a situation they can no longer control? The true stunner occurred when Jasmine's next move was revealed the minute Jasmine apparently filed for formal mediation with the $300 offer as part of the requirements, indicating that this was no longer just a verbal arrangement. She wanted it signed and legally acknowledged, and she was prepared to battle to court if necessary.